So before we get started, want to touch on a few housekeeping items. So during this session, there will be some interaction. So please use the chat function on the bottom of the screen and make sure your answers are assigned to go to everyone. You can also use that chat function for any technical challenges you might bump into. There is also a Q&A function at the bottom of the screen. Please feel free to enter in any questions you might have throughout the webinar, and those will be addressed at the end. So joining us today from FTL is Andrew Lockman, an account executive. And Andrew will be talking about creating a game plan for growth. Andrew, I'll hand it over to you.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you, Brandon, and thank you to the whole Hardy team for having us today. As Brandon mentioned, we're going to be creating a game plan for growth, the secret weapon for a stronger sales team. As Brandon mentioned, my name is Andrew Lockman. I'm an account executive with FTL Finance. I work with contractors and equipment suppliers across the country, kind of talk about the importance of financing and how to effectively use financing as a way to grow business. A business, just like football, is all about teamwork and leadership. You'll see this quote on the screen here from the great Peyton Manning. The most valuable player is the one who makes the most players valuable. Good coaches provide the direction, clarity, and leadership that leads to success, but that leadership can also come from within your team. We're going to talk to you today about how you can up-level your sales team to create a game plan for growth. But first, here are just a handful of some of the top NFL coaches of all time. Apologies if your team is not represented here. I don't make up the facts, I just report on them. Although there are just a couple too many Dallas Cowboys coaches for my liking, but I guess that's besides the point. But right now, I want to toss it out to you. So what qualities do you think make a good coach or a good leader? Go ahead and type it into the chat. So when I ask this, I don't mean necessarily these guys in particular, but think back to some of your favorite coaches or mentors. You know, what did you admire about them? Some examples that we've seen kind of in the past and that I've had discussions with are, competitive or focused on growth or success. So, there's no wrong answers. So basically, if a person or coach has a quality that's made an impact on you, then it's an important quality. Yeah, empathy, listening, very good answers. Excellent. Yeah, I just want to kind of get an idea of what our folks in the audience think here. So NFL actually asked a small group of its players recently what qualities make up a good NFL coach. There's a wide variety of answers, as you could probably imagine from some of the characters that are involved in that league, but we've compiled some of the top ones for you. None of these should probably be a shocker, probably about what you would expect. First one we'll kind of look at is honest and trustworthy. So the players that were asked expressed needing honest feedback in order to improve. They also said they need to trust the person that's giving them that feedback. So not only do they need to trust the person has their best interest in mind, but they also need to trust their expertise. Does this person even know what they're talking about? Next thing we'll look at is communication. So these two kind of go hand in hand. Coaches need to be able to communicate effectively to, call the plays, provide constructive feedback. Then obviously this communication should be very clear and very prompt. The heat of a game, things move pretty quickly, so it's important to be direct. And of course, leadership. There are quite a few answers that we felt fell into this category. Since these qualities are similar, we kind of just grouped them together. Things like organization, structure, and consistency. So in order to be consistent, though, there needs to be structure and organization. Without it, there's not any accountability, and there's no way to measure success. Now that we kind of know the qualities of a good coach, let's take a look at your team to see how we can leverage them for growth. So as sales leadership, you are basically the head coach. And just like a football team, you have a lot of support. Where an NFL team has offensive and defensive coordinators and a position coach, in business, you could consider these to be your sales managers, territory managers, and counter teams. So each of these positions plays a specific role in the success of your sales team, and they're going to have the greatest impact on the players, which in your case would be the dealers, because of their frequent interaction with them. They're highly specialized in their roles, and these people bring their own personal experience to each interaction. Each of these coaches has their own communication and leadership styles, and as the head of your organization, you may provide the main structure and organization. They likely have their own systems to stay on track and keep up with their dealers. Thinking back to our list of qualities for a good coach, they typically fit a lot of them. First one we'll look at is communication. Again, people in these roles likely communicate the most with your dealers. They call it check-in, meet up, go on ride-alongs, whatever it might be. They're the frontline messengers who share important information and updates with the dealers. Honest and trustworthy, like we talked about. Dealers rely on the knowledge and expertise of your sales team. That's how they're going to function as a business and how they can have success. Earlier this year, the Hardy Voice of Contractors survey found that counter people and territory managers hold the most influence over a contractor's purchasing decisions. Dealers trust these positions to help them with equipment and navigate changes and new things in their business. Your sales strategy is your game plan for these positions. Each of you will have a different plan based on your business and what your team's objectives might be. But no matter how the plans differ, these coaches are responsible for the majority of your sales and growth. Notice I did say majority. So in football, these coaches represent 2/3 of the game, so 66%. What is missing? Let me know what you think is responsible for the other 1/3. So we've got offense covered, defense covered. What is missing from our game plan? Anybody can go. Of course, we are talking about special teams. In football, special teams are responsible for 1/3 of the game. So anybody that follows football or is a fan knows that special teams can make or break a game. It's happened plenty of times with my Chicago Bears. Long field goals, kickoffs, punts, field position, all of these things contribute to the overall game strategy. But special teams doesn't just operate in a silo. They have to work with the other teams in order to, complete their strategy. The special teams coaches for your business are going to be your suppliers, partners, and service providers. Just like in football, these teams provide support to take, your game to the next level. They have expertise in specific areas that can fill in that 1/3 of your game strategy that isn't covered by your internal teams. They'll do this through training and guidance in areas where, your team may not have all the expertise and knowledge. Your suppliers, of course, can provide training on equipment and updates and new regulatory things. Your partners can provide expertise and guidance about different industry trends, things like that. And of course, your service providers can provide knowledge and training on their services, which, can provide more value to your whole sales experience and performance overall. But going back to the Peyton Manning quote from earlier, the most valuable player is the one who makes the most players valuable. So when your dealers are doing well, you will do well. Taking an interest in helping them win will keep them coming back to you and establish loyalty. And I think we all know how valuable that is in any business, but especially in the business that we're in. Well, customer lifetime value, which is defined as the total amount of money a business can expect from a customer over the entire period of their relationship. And it's really important because we all know it costs a lot less to keep an existing customer than it is to find a new one. It's also easier to sell them. So keeping your existing customers happy will keep your acquisition costs down. This is also going to help you boost your profit. According to a study conducted by a professor at the Wharton School of Business, selling to an existing customer is 14 times more likely than selling to a new customer. Again, that number was selling to an existing customer is 14 times more likely than selling to a new customer. And the Harvard Business Review has a widely published report that many of you have probably seen that shows even a 5% increase in customer retention rates can increase profit as much as 95%. So obviously loyalty has great benefits that go beyond the money spent at your business though. Loyal dealers will also increase your brand reputation because as we all know in this industry, people talk and many people have friends. So if you have a good reputation with one contractor, they'll recommend you to their friends in the industry, which brings in referral traffic, which again keeps those acquisition costs down. Now that you know why you should do it, let's take a look at how special teams can help you grow your business. Like I said earlier, special teams is going to be responsible for a third of the game. So they are not on the field for every play. They're a necessary component of the overall strategy because they are highly specialized. Special teams can provide additional support for your sales team by sharing knowledge and expertise, as well as some tools and resources. And they're going to work with your teams to round out that overall sales strategy. As one of your special team service providers, FTL Finance provides decades of knowledge and expertise in both the HVAC industry and consumer financing. We were established in 1996, and we specialize in helping residential HVAC and home improvement contractors grow their business. We don't take a one-size-fits-all approach. We have dedicated support staff that works to understand unique needs of each business so we can create the right financing menu for each company. As we've been discussing so far throughout this presentation, we know good teams don't just happen. They require coaching to perform at the highest level. So we provide support for your sales team through ride-alongs with TMs, by attending dealer meetings, counter days, and train on our resources. Also, work directly with the dealers to make sure they understand how to introduce financing to homeowners and make sure they're comfortable with every step of the process. So special teams often has specialized tools and resources as well. Closest thing I can think is the little T that they use for kickoffs. This could be considered a tool for special teams, but your special teams partners invest in tools as well to help their businesses. And in many cases, you can leverage those tools to help dealers grow and succeed. We've got our own technology to make offering financing a little bit easier. We know your dealers are there to help homeowners with a problem. The last thing they want is a clunky financing process or a million questions or for it to take forever. But what we've got is our project estimator, which makes providing estimates very simple. It shows payment plans for multiple options, and the estimate also actually serves as the loan application. So pretty seamless overall experience there. And App Tracker keeps everything in one place so you can monitor the loan application and look at payments that have gone into your account. Earlier, though, I mentioned our support services, which we provide for both distributors and dealers. I think this is very important and a good way to differentiate. So on the distributor side, we do have a distributor support specialist who can access data for dealer active rates, registrations, different types of equipment that have been installed, basically all the data that you could ever imagine. We've also got a dedicated account executive, someone like myself, that you can reach out to for team training, marketing materials, on-site demos, and really just help overall in getting your dealers registered and setting them up for success. But as I mentioned, we've also got some dedicated support just for dealers. So any contractor that gets registered with FTL would have access to an account success manager. This person would help with their account setup. This is going to include choosing the right loan programs for their business, things like that. But yeah, as we mentioned before, though, we understand the HVAC business because we've been working in it for decades. So our expertise here can help dealers understand how to use those financing programs to grow their business. What I think we have been successful with is being a good introductory spot for contractors to just get started with financing. We don't just kind of throw people to the wolves and say, figure it out. You know, it's important to have that training and support. But we've also got the contractor support specialist that we work with as well. So this person within FTL would provide administrative and tech support for those digital tools. They can also troubleshoot applications, things like that. Basically anything that pops up day to day. So your teams aren't going to feel like they left out in the cold. So think about your special teams as additional tools and support staff that can come in and help in areas where you and your team might lack some expertise. As the head coach, you oversee and guide your coaches, so you don't need to know everything, and neither do they. Think about how you can leverage these resources, provide a depth of knowledge that'll help your sales team and fulfill your overall strategy. What we want you to do is encourage your sales team to be straightforward with dealers, provide clear communication and leadership through organizational structure and consistency. Doing all this can create a game plan that's going to be a win-win for everyone. Because once again, from our good friend Peyton Manning, the most valuable player is the one who makes the most players valuable. So at this time, I do want to kind of open it up to questions here. We've got plenty of time, so don't be shy here.
Yeah, great job, Andrew.
Thanks.
One question that came in was scalability. Is FTL able to work with contractors of all sizes and distributor of all sizes?
Yes, so we are not discriminate when it comes to the size of business. Oftentimes, especially in the financing world, for contractors, some finance companies are a little more particular about the size of contractor they'll work with. You might have to do X amount of sales per year, or might have to be in business for X number of years. We don't have any of those restrictions. Basically, as long as a contractor wants to grow, we are willing to work with them. And the same applies on the distributor level too. We can provide the data that a lot of the larger guys might need to get an idea of what's going on, but we can also kind of have that personal touch for the smaller guys as well. So, either way, we're not restricted on either side.
Awesome. That was the current question. Give it a second, see if any other ones come through.
Sure.
In the meantime, I would like to highlight FTL Finance and their participation in our upcoming annual conference. FTL is a proven partner of Hardy, so they are even a step above standard membership in that regard. And then they'll also be exhibiting in our Solution Center space. So if you'd like to talk to their team directly, you have an opportunity to do so at our annual event.
Excellent. Yes, thank you, Brandon. And also, I'm available in the meantime. I know we've got a few months or a little bit of time before the annual event, I guess, but my contact is available. So if you have contractors that need some help or just some general questions about financing or just want to discuss some of the finer points, that's what we are here for and what I'm here for. So please don't hesitate.
Love it. Yeah, it's coming up fast there, Andrew. And
I just happened to look down and it's November already. What are we doing?
Here it comes. Hey, and that did shake out a question. If dealers are having issues getting approvals with their current lenders, can FTL fit in? And does it make sense for dealers to have more than one lender?
Those are great question. I'll start kind of with the second one. In the 5-6 years I've been with FTL, the conversation has really shifted. where, it used to be stressing the importance of having financing available, was the main concern or kind of what we were trying to get across. Now, I think with the rise of equipment costs and everything like that, people understand they need financing, but that conversation has shifted to the importance of having a secondary lender. Over the past few years, there's been a lot of changes in the landscape, obviously, but when it comes to lending, a lot of finance companies in this industry have kind of tightened up their credit requirements. So it makes things very difficult for a lot of homeowners to get approved. So FTL does do a very good job, I think, of being kind of that second look lender. Well, we're happy to service prime customers as well and have options for them. What I think we're really good at is that second look, having some reasonable rates and not charging the contractor a boatload just in order to have a second look lender available. So, if you are just using a big bank or something like that for your primary lending, I think it's very important to supplement that with a secondary lender.
Wonderful. All right, Andrew. Unless any additional questions come in here, I think that might do it. I think that might wrap us up.
Okay, give you all some time back in your day.
All right. Well, I want to thank Andrew. I want to thank the FTL finance team. I want to thank you all for taking time out of your busy days to be here for this webinar. We will send the recording out so you could share that with your team members. It'll also be on our website as well. And please feel free to reach out to Andrew and the FTL team if they can be of assistance.
Thank you very much, Brandon.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.